Hello everybody, my name is Edwin Greco, and today I'd like to take you through my thought process when it comes to planning a VFR cross country, especially focusing on my weather decision making. So today I'm going to be flying a VFR cross country from Kilo Tango Tango November Trenton Merchant Airport to Kilo Mike Quebec, India. I'll be flying in a Cessna 172 at 6,500 feet, and I'll be departing on April 19th, and the flight time is going to be from about 9 p.m. to about 12 p.m. based on my nav log. And over here, you can kind of see where I have planned this out with Tango Tango November up here, and then Mike Quebec, India, and I've decided to kind of fly down the shore, fly down the coast with a bunch of checkpoints that are good for me to map out and know exactly where I am. Flying this route creates a lot more peace of mind, knowing that it's pretty hard to get lost when all you have to do is follow the coast, especially when you have certain checkpoints that you can make out to figure out your exact location. So yeah, let's get into the weather briefing. So what I used for today's weather briefing was WX Brief digital briefings. I acquired an Outlook briefing at 15:32 Zulu, which is approximately 10 hours before my departure, and a standard briefing within the hour of my departure. So for the Outlook briefing, let's just look at what the METARs we're currently reading. Yes, this is 10 hours before my departure, but it's good to see what the weather's doing. So from the METAR Kilo Tango Tango November, as you can see, winds, it's pretty gusty, it's variable, and the ceilings are pretty low. We have broken at 2,700 feet and broken at 4,800 feet and overcast at 5,500 feet. And the temperature dew point spread is pretty small. And I can just tell you from how it was looking outside, it was not looking like great weather. It was windy and very just low visibility. And we get the same thing from the METAR at Mike Quebec, India. We have 320 at 10, gust 15, so still pretty windy. The wind direction is pretty variable. Ceilings are low, and again, a pretty small temp dew point spread. Now let's look at our tasks, because this will help us more with our actual flight. So this TAF expires from the 20th at 8 o'clock local, so this is for our flight time at Kilo Tango Tango November. We had VFR, winds 290 at 5, visibility 6 statute miles, and clouds few at 7,000. So just from this TAF, looking at Tango Tango November, although the weather wasn't great earlier, it is, or Outlook briefing is at least expecting the weather to be clearing up. Same thing for Echo Charlie Quebec. Now this is actually 30 miles away from our destination airport, but it is still helpful just to get a look at what the weather is around that area. So our first half is from 2,000 local to 2,300 local, so right around our departure time, and then to an hour before our arrival. We have a VFR, wind 340 at 9, visibility 6 statute miles, and skies clear. And then just for like the last hour of our flight, so our arrival in to Mike Quebec, India, we have wind variable for visibility 6 statute miles and skies clear. So what I take from this is that the weather should definitely be clearing up, and we should probably have a good chance of making this flight. And then let's just look at the airmets and SIGMETs. So our Outlook briefing was showing that we had no airmets Sierras. We did have an airmet Zulu for icing from 10,000 plus, which is not a problem for us, being that we were flying at 6,500. And then we did have an airmet Tango for low level turbulence, expiring at 11 p.m. I'm not too worried about airmet for low level turbulence, but let's move on. Here's some extra. So yeah, so as you can see, just from our extra stuff, let's look into the prog charts first. We did have a low pressure system and a cold front. So Here is the prog chart from our Outlook briefing. As you can see, our route of flight right from here to here, we do have a low pressure system and a cold front. So although the weather is supposed to be clearing up, as we know, a low pressure system, you have that rising air, a cold front moving in, causing lifting force as well. It doesn't sit with me quite well that that's there, just knowing that that could cause some pretty unstable atmospheric conditions. But besides that, skies, as you can see, skies were basically completely clear along our whole route, so looked pretty good. Just a little worried about how we have that low pressure system and that cold front, and then no NOTAMs or TFRs for our flight, which is also a very important thing. All right, now let's move on to our standard briefing. So now we're moving into my thought process about an hour before my flight. So our METOR at Tango Tango November, we have winds 270 at 3 knots, visibility 10, view at 9,000, view at 11,000. Still a pretty small temp dew point spread, but besides that, it seemed to hold up from our Outlook briefing. The winds and ceilings cleared up and winds calmed, and exactly what our Outlook said. For Mike Quebec, India, we have 060 at 11, gusts 15, 10 statute miles, and skies clear. Winds calmed down, skies cleared up, exactly what our Outlook briefing said. So it's looking like we might be able to make this flight, but let's keep moving on. Let's see what our TAFs say for our flight. 280 at 4, 6 statute miles visibility, and view at 15,000 for Tango Tango November for the rest of our flight. And then just going in from until 8 o'clock the next morning. We have variable at 5, winds, 6 statute miles, visibility, and skies clear for Echo Charlie Quebec, which, as I said, is around our airport, about 30 miles away, closest TAF we have. So it's still looking pretty good. This is where things take a little bit of a turn. We do have an AirMet Zulu for icing at 5,000 feet, which I'm not very worried about because skies seem to be pretty clear. They're predicted to be clear at least. But we do have a convective segment, which worries me. This is a convective segment for severe turbulence, and that is going to be changing my decision a lot, because severe turbulence, especially in a Cessna 172, it's not something you want to have to deal with. And then extra prog charts, we still have that low pressure system and that cold front around the area, which again, it just makes me feel uneasy because you never know what weather you're going to get with that. Could cause for very unstable atmosphere. But the winds seem to be fine and the sky's clear. So I was thinking we could make this flight, but I'm just worried about that severe turbulence convective segment. Now, what happened between our Outlook and our standard briefing? So the Outlook predicted that the weather would get better, and the standard proved that the Outlook was correct. Problem is, the standard briefing did show us that severe turbulence 6 segment, which that is going to be a huge factor for our go/no-go decision for this flight. So what is my go/no-go decision? For this flight, I'm going to decide to cancel the flight. Weather cleared up, winds seem good, skies are clear, the weather is a lot better during the nighttime, which is when our departure time was, but we do have that severe turbulence convective segment. And honestly, that's right there is the only reason I've put my foot down is this is a cancellation, because you cannot be flying, especially in a Cessna 172, into severe turbulence. You could immediately lose control of the aircraft pretty easily. So that is why I decided to cancel my flight. Weather got better, but do not want to mess around with a convective segment for severe turbulence. Thank you.